Hello and welcome to the Property Business Podcast. As usual, I am joined by James Hughes and Jonathan Woods. How are you, boys?
Yeah, all good. Hectic week, trying to get offers agreed. Not an easy market, but working hard and making progress. But on the whole, all good.
Good to have offers, James. We've got someone to work with at least.
True.
The election seems to have put the brakes on a little bit, certainly in my area. But no, all's good. We just need to get that out of the way. I think we're only a week away now, or a week or two, I think it is. So, yeah, looking forward to
We've got a guest on the show today. Camillo, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, James. How the rest of you guys getting on? All good?
We are good. Can you pronounce your last name for us? Because I'm scared I'm going to get it horrendously wrong.
I almost want to hear how you're going to say it now. Go, give it a go, James.
I'll have a go. Camillo De Gregorio.
Do you know what? That's actually really good. Really good. De Gregorio. I'll say it the English way. De Gregorio.
So, what's your background then? If you've got Italian heritage?
Yeah, so father's side, he's from Italy, sort of the middle south of Italy. Lovely little seaside town called Pescara on the side of the Adriatic Sea. Mother from Malta, but born in southwest London and grew up and been working in the area my whole life. Yeah.
So London boy then, your whole life then?
Yep. So born in Clapham South, which is now the Latitude Apartments, just above the Tesco's. Born there quite a few years ago, but worked with the two chaps in the podcast now back on Lavender Hill. That's where it all began for me. But a London boy, born and bred.
Well, that leads us on to let's find out first of all about your background in real estate. Tell us how you got into it.
So I think maybe like a few people, I didn't wake up one day wanting to be an estate agent. I was brought into it by actually one of my sister's friends who used to work at Foxton. She was an office coordinator, and she said, "Oh, I know your brother. I think he'd be a decent estate agent. Why wasn't he go along for an interview at Foxton's and see what happens?" So I went into it with sort of zero expectations. Rocked up to their head office and didn't take the beer, which is the red pill, blue pill sort of test that they give you. I went for the soft drink. Got through to the second round and, just took each round as it came. And before I knew it, they were like, "Yeah, would you like to be a negotiator?" So that was back in 2010. Coming up to almost 15 years. It was a very, very good schooling there. I was working with John and James. I was there till, just under 7 years, 7 years at Foxtons, which was really, really good schooling. And then in 2015, I made the jump and I moved to another local estate agent in Battersea. And that was actually a bit more of a challenge because it was a cold start office. So I opened what is now the Chestons Battersea Park branch. I opened that in 2015 and it was a real big challenge. I was working with, sort of very little data, really having to branch out into the local community and build long-standing relationships. And it was a good time. Really, really enjoyed it there. 7 years. A 7 year stint there, and I ended up at Knight Frank, which was my most recent posting, which I thought would be the pinnacle of my career. Right, I was like, "Hey, you've made it to the top. There's nowhere else to go." But here I am, and more to tell later about that.
You've got a really, really good, interesting background. Knight Frank obviously is a very established brand, high end, and I think when we chat to people that are at companies like that, they're very reluctant to leave. What was the main reason why you left?
I think when I left Chestons to go to Knight Frank, I felt like I was going to be at the pinnacle, and I really thought this is my final move. But it just didn't quite happen. I mean, I really enjoyed my time there, and I worked with some fantastic property professionals and saw some of the best real estate I've seen in my career. But I guess after close to 15 years of being told, told what to do and being heavily monitored on KPIs and managing a team, it was always in my background where I wanted to be my own business owner. I wanted to do things myself, and I wanted to have an uncapped earning potential. And something that's been touched on in some of the other podcasts you guys have done is, every year you sort of overperform and do very well, they will chip away at your office commission, or a bonus will be taken away, and they keep you in, your little earning box. And I got to the stage where I was like, right, I don't have any kids yet. Financially, I'm in a good place to be able to do this. I've got nothing to lose, and there is no better time than for me to be my own business owner.
And how have you found the transition? Because I think one of the problems that what people see with leaving a company that has got a very good reputation like Knight Frank, especially in the high end part of the market, is then moving over to a company which for a lot of people they haven't even heard of before, and they worry that they'll be able to get good listings from it. How have you found that transition?
I mean, I've been lucky enough where James, John, some of my other sort of ex-colleagues have been, I've sort of been on the journey with them prior to me joining. So I've been able to sort of see how it's been going, and I think Jack in the previous podcast maybe talked about, highs and lows. So that's part and parcel of being, an estate agent and a salesman. But I've just been very excited to feel excited about going to work again, and I didn't really have to worry about how am I going to wake up in the morning, how am I going to motivate myself. That's always sort of come from within. So I haven't found it difficult. I've actually found it completely the opposite. And to be honest, I'm quite a risk averse person. I usually tend to pick the safe option, stable income, stable salary, make sure my savings are where they should be, and I'm squirreling away where I can. So for me to do something like this has probably been the biggest jump, but so far, 4 months in, it's going okay. It's going okay.
I think the biggest
Camillo.
decision you made there was to, like you say, to back yourself and take action. And I think what you've done over the last 4 months is just follow the basics that are really successful and will help you to become a fantastic business owner, which is what you wanted to do. And I think everyone has their own style, everyone has their own way of doing things, but that's the beauty of this, is that you do it your way. And there are basics that if you follow that at the start will bring success. And you've already got a couple of listings already, is that right? You've already managed to I mean, that is the biggest challenge that people face is how am I going to get listings? But there's lots of information, there's lots of support and help out there to help that happen.
Yeah.
How many listings do you have, Camillo?
As well.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, John. Yeah, hard work is I definitely didn't become a business owner to have more free hours or to work less. It's been quite the opposite. But no, so far I've got 6 sales listings with a potential 3 more to come on. And then on the lettings front, which is my background, I've only got a very small amount of actual sales experience. I was a letting agent for most of that time. Leveraging my previous contacts, so old landlords who have noticed what I'm doing on LinkedIn, they've been reaching out to me and saying, look, my flat's going to come available, can you help me with this? And I think people just love the fact that you're starting out in business, you're not a big corporate, you're not a machine, you're dealing with a person. And it's something I used to say when I was an agent. I said, yes, you're coming to me because I work for X, but you come to me because you're dealing with me, Camillo. That's my name, and now it's my own name on the door. It's just that much more exciting to work with these clients.
I think you've been a fine example, Camillo, of you've worked exceptionally hard, and as I keep saying, you've just followed the process. I mean, there's no magic solution to this. It's just following the process over and over again. So you're new to Instagram. You're doing very well on Instagram. We've got the prospecting, the magic letters. You kind of send out magic letters all the time. Do you want to talk about this listing at 1.1 million that you've got, that you found yourself? Then you've got that kind of coming live. Can you talk about that for us?
Absolutely, yeah. So I as part of the EXP sort of package, one of the bolt-on extras that you can get is something called the prospecting, and that's where they will, you'll give them a number of postcodes to work with, and they will send you a scrape from all of the portals with a list of addresses, and it's then a matter of me, downloading the data, getting my pen and paper out, my printer, and writing down all of these letters, hand signing them, and hand delivering them in most instances. And I sent out one to a really prestigious development in Southwest London called Henry Tate Mews, and prior to that, it was one of my 10 facts of Streatham, my local area, where I mentioned Henry Tate Mews, and and the vendor, gave me a call. She said, "Hi, I've just got this letter through my door. Can you explain to me what is this all about?" So I told her about my journey, and she was really, really impressed. She loved the fact that I use, good quality paper. It was hand signed, it was hand delivered, and I met her 3 weeks ago, and she was, really impressed. She's currently on the market with an agent who just hasn't really performed. And she said, "Look, I love your enthusiasm. I love the fact that you're an individual, and I want to give you a chance." So to get something at 1.1 in my first sort of 3 or 4 months was super exciting, and I had my first sort of videography that I had done. So I had my own video made, and I had the person throwing the drone up, and just becoming confident talking on camera. It's a steep learning curve, but when you put yourself
Yeah.
into these uncomfortable positions, that's really where you grow as a person. And it's been really exciting. So I'm really excited to launch that. Absolutely can't wait.
And the great thing is business makes business. So just by doing
Yeah.
this and closing this, then let everyone know that you've closed it. And then what will happen is you'll just organically get more business from it. So what has been the most, what have you done? Tell us from like the day that you signed up with EXP, what marketing and advertising have you done? Even, not just paying, but Instagram, all of that. Talk us through the journey.
So I think it pretty much started when I left my previous employer. So in the background, I was getting a lot of my business setup done. So I converted, my personal and Facebook accounts to professional ones, and I've seen some really, really good growth levels in that. So it was just about throwing the message out there to as many people as possible, because the majority of people will want you to succeed, and that word of mouth referrals through friends and family network are just absolutely key. So I was really, really pushing that as much as I could. But then I was also making local videos about my immediate area, trying to get local community engagement. I was talking about doing the magic letters and actually getting out and knocking on a few doors, which was something that I've never done before as an agent. And I think a lot of people who, when they sit in their front offices as a high street agent, it's so frowned upon, that dodgy salesman knocking on your door and asking for the business. So I've done that. I'm still not 100% comfortable with it, but I'm getting better day by day. I've had my boards made. I put a few advertising boards up. There's one at my house, there's one at my parents' house, there's one at my friend's house around the corner. So I've just been trying to just throw the word out there as much as possible, but it has been difficult. But I'm giving myself, at least sort of really 12 to 24 months to see if this can work, and I like to think I can back myself and the help I've got through the organization as well, that it's going to be a success.
I think
I'm
there's
telling you right now, with what you've already got and what you're doing, you're going to be a success. Jonathan can tell you firsthand. I remember we had conversations where he was like, 6-12 months in, this is tough, and then just one day, boom, it just clicked and he was off flying. It is hard work to begin with, and whenever you start any business, I've had multiple businesses, whenever you start a business, there are times when you question it and you go, wouldn't it have just been easier just to get a paid job? And then you get through it. Normally any business, it takes 2 years, and then Jonathan and James can probably show you the cars that they're driving and the lifestyle that they've got, and the fact they're doing these podcasts from all over the world continuously. Trust me, it's worth the hard work.
Oh,
I think,
absolutely.
I was going to say, go ahead, James.
Camillo, but you've also been involved in, is it 2 transactions for me? So when I've been away, you've been handling the viewing. So even though you were still building your own stock, you had access to my stock and also the network stock. So you've done 2 deals, one in Gypsy Hill, Wellfield Road. We've got another sort of co-listing coming on that's launched this morning. So you've got a lot of access to stock from day one, even though you're still building your own instructions. How have you actually? Obviously, we're good friends and we know each other very well. When myself and John built the business from scratch, it was only me and John figuring out what to do, what not to do. How have you found our help and support? You might give me a different answer in the pub later, but how have you found the kind of help that me and John are trying to help you to kind of build your business?
Yeah, I mean, all jokes aside, and it has been a huge help. I think from moral support, but then also just from the practicalities of going into this, being just a corporate background, like to help me set up, who can I go to set up a bank account? Oh, great, that's who I use. Okay, I'm going to need an accountant. Okay, brilliant, you've got someone you can refer to me. So having that at the very beginning, it just helps you get up to speed that much more. So yeah, our group has just been a huge support, and I implore anyone who's thinking about making this move, you're not doing it alone. You're doing it with some very, very experienced, seasoned agents who our director level, area director level, and we all know what to do to help each other. And it's just that collaboration piece, which is just super important. It's about not feeling alone.
Nice.
Yeah, it's just going to say, I think we've now we have a WhatsApp group with 40 people on it, who are, again, like Camillo said, all really top level agents, all with different skill sets as well, which I really like, because if you've got a question, I don't know everything, none of us do, but there's always someone that can offer a bit of advice or help, and they're freely and willing to do so. I think there's a lot of agents I speak to, certainly, that work either in offices or at different brokerages, that it's very, very, very competitive and very kind of, well, look, I'm not going to give you information because you'll get better and therefore you'll be better than me. So, that just doesn't exist. And I think, that's what, is testament to what's being built right now, in London, but also now to the sort of wider UK network as well. So, it's great to have you part of it and to see your journey, Camillo. You're at that cusp now where you're starting to build up your instructions and hope, build up your pipeline. Once that starts to crystallize and come through, then you're on the other side, and then it's about reinvesting and moving on to the next stage.
Well, I know you guys, all three of you, have got an unbelievably busy day. Camillo, what we'll do is we'll get you on in 6 months to a year, and we'll do a follow-up and see how you're getting on, because I know you've got to go to a meeting now, and the other two have as well. This is the thing about being a busy agent. You're off busy all day, and it just shows how well you're doing.
That's it.
How can we follow you on social media?
So I'm on Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram, I'm Camillo EX Property, and Camillo De Gregorio on Facebook, and obviously Camillo De Gregorio on LinkedIn as well. But yeah, please feel free to follow me.
Awesome. Great having you all on, guys. We will catch up very soon.
Have a good day, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Bye.